Welcome, Shadow Ritual. Chapter 1. Forbidden Game. According to legend, a family once lived in Blackwood Manor, but they mysteriously disappeared in a single night. The townspeople believed the house was cursed, and no one dared to go near it. However, four adventurous young friends, Ethan, Olivia, James, and Sophia, decided to test the legend for themselves. We'll stay for just one night. If ghosts really exist, the only way to find out is to try, Ethan said with a confident smile. James rolled his eyes. What if it's just an ordinary house? We might be scared for no reason. Olivia took a deep breath. But what if it's not? No one had an answer to that question, but they were about to find out. At midnight, they gathered in the grand hall with the Ouija board and a few candles. Darkness surrounded them, and the sound of the wind outside sent shivers down their spines. Sophia whispered in a trembling voice, "We wish to speak with the unknown. If you are here, make contact with us." A long silence followed. Just as Olivia was about to suggest leaving, the planchette on the board began to move on its own. Chapter 2. The First Message. As the planchette trembled and moved, all four of them held their breath. Olivia quickly pulled her hand away. "Is someone pushing it?" James whispered, his voice uncertain. Ethan shook his head. "None of us are moving it." The planchette slowly glided over the letters on the board. Hello. Sophia's eyes widened. Did it just say hello to us? The air in the room suddenly grew colder. The candle flames flickered. Olivia instinctively crossed her arms, feeling the chill on her skin. Ethan took a deep breath and asked again, "Who are you?" For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the planchette started moving again. Nathanniel. James frowned. Nathaniel? That name sounds familiar. Sophia quickly pulled out her phone and searched for more information about Blackwood Manor. Within seconds, her eyes locked onto an old newspaper clipping on the screen. Nathaniel Blackwood. This house belonged to him. But he died in 1876. At that moment, a deep, guttural whisper echoed from the corner of the room. "Don't leave!" All four of them froze. Sophia's phone slipped from her hands. Olivia clung to Ethan's arm, trembling. James jumped to his feet in panic. "Who said that?" But before anyone could answer, all the candles went out at once. The room was swallowed by complete darkness. And then the sound of footsteps echoed. Chapter 3. Footsteps in the dark. The room was swallowed by complete darkness. Ethan pulled out his phone, trying to turn on the flashlight, but the screen was frozen. Olivia whispered in a shaky voice, Is this real?" At that moment, a footstep echoed on the wooden floor. Then another. The steps were slow and deliberate, as if someone was approaching them. James quickly turned around. "Who's there?" he shouted. There was no response. But suddenly, there was movement in the large mirror in the room. Even though the dim candlelight didn't reflect much, a silhouette appeared in the glass. A tall man, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, but with no face. Sophia screamed and stumbled backward. At the same time, all the doors in the room slammed shut with a loud bang. Ethan finally managed to turn on his phone's flashlight and quickly pointed it at the mirror. But the figure was gone. James gritted his teeth and turned back to the Ouija board. "What do you want from us?" he shouted. The planchette began to move again, spelling out a message. Helpme. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "It doesn't want to hurt us. It's trying to reach us." But James shook his head. "I don't believe that. It could be playing tricks on us." Just then, the closet door in the corner of the room slowly creaked open. An old, yellowed piece of paper fluttered to the floor. Sophia picked it up and dusted it off. Written in faded ink, the message read, "They buried me in the wrong place. Find the truth, or you will be lost like me." Chapter 4. The Hidden Grave. The group was panicked, but there was no turning back now. As Sophia read the note with trembling hands, Ethan took a deep breath. If this really is Nathaniel's spirit, maybe they buried him in the wrong spot. His body might still be somewhere in this manor. Olivia shivered. "Wait, are you saying we need to dig up a grave?" James stood up angrily. "This is insane. It could be a trap. How can we trust what a ghost says?" Before anyone could argue, a deep, metallic, creaking sound echoed through the house. It came from below, in the basement, like a heavy door slowly opening. Ethan narrowed his eyes. "There's only one way to know for sure. We have to go down there." Reluctantly, they descended into the basement. The narrow, dark stone staircase sent chills through them. Finally, they reached a massive iron door with a rusted plaque on it. "Blackwood Family Crypt." Sophia swallowed hard. Could he be buried in here? Ethan pushed the door open, and inside they found a burial chamber. The walls were lined with old stone coffins. But one of them stood out. It had no name, just a symbol carved into it. "Cursed soul." James took a step back. "I don't want to open this." But then a whisper came from behind the door. "Please." Chapter 5. The Call of the Dead. Sophia and Ethan carefully slid the lid off the nameless coffin. Inside, wrapped in decayed fabrics, lay a skeleton, but on its chest, nailed into the bones, was an old journal. Olivia asked in a trembling voice, "What does this mean?" Ethan picked up the journal and flipped through the pages. The ink was faded, but the words were still readable. "They buried me here, but my soul is not free. Uncover the truth. Set me free." Just then, the candles in the room lit up on their own. A warm wind rushed through the crypt, and for a brief moment they saw Nathaniel's silhouette in the shadows. James whispered slowly, "He's being freed." Suddenly, the burial chamber began to shake. The ceiling creaked as dust and debris fell. The heavy door swung open with force. Ethan shouted, "Run!" As they rushed up the stairs, a warm light passed through them. One of them glanced back. Nathaniel's face was finally visible, and for the first time, he was smiling peacefully. As they escaped, the ancient walls of Blackwood Manor began to crumble behind them. Olivia wiped her tears. "We set him free." Sophia shivered. "But I wish we had never played this game." James remained silent. Ethan looked up at the sky and whispered, "Some spirits just want to be heard. But some need much more to be free." As the last stones of the manor collapsed, a faint whisper echoed in the wind, "Thank you." And then silence.